Hi everyone in Boss Nation. You know that Morgan Magan, that's who this is, your one and only hostess. Today we're switching things up quite literally with my poetry segment. So after I read the poem, we'll get started class wise with the rest of the show. And so you will not see my face while I am reading the poem, but you'll be able to hear me. Let me just pull up the poem to be able to read it to you. But happy in 2024, March 21st, Thursday, to everyone. Okay, so my poem reads as follows: letting the grass tickle your feet, letting nature be your personal song beat, good food, um, not feeling blue, spring and summer too, and um, um, oh, and Jesus, the the relationship part of Easter too with Jesus makes me not blue, and I do Easter with family that I adore. It anyway. That is my poem called Easter. As you can see, my poem did not rhyme completely, and as I let you see my face again, hold on. And the process um, that I took for writing Easter was first I thought about the holiday season, feeling chilly or all the way at times like spring, and then it still feels like that for early summer, not too warm that you want to scream when you go outside and not be outside, but you don't most of the time feel the breeze of winter and think of eating hot soup to get rid of cold and everything, or taking allergy medicine most of the time because of cold. You switch to a different type of allergy medicine like Claritin for sinuses and everything, but you still love how you can communicate with people in the warm weather and the outside gatherings and barbecues. Um those are some things I talked about. Um, I thought about when writing Easter. So, my tip for writing a poem that is personal is brainstorm in a way that you can tell people about your process, but don't not do a good job expressing yourself in the poem to the point where as you keep in mind that your ability to express yourself well will be subjective to some people. Some people, no matter what piece of writing poetry wise you write, they're not going to think it was delivered well because of maybe the theme or the message, but you just have to say that you love the naysayers anyway, and don't let that get to you too much, you know. But that's what I thought about when writing Easter. So for the brainstorming part, I did think Boss Nation about the holiday and everything, and then I thought about things that my family does, like we gather around with food, with positive secular things like just um being outside and enjoying the fresh air. Sometimes I exercise outside during this weather when it's a lot warmer, or as Easter is coming and this one seems to be colder for right now. I have on a jacket and I go outside still enjoying the fresh air and breeze and being thankful for good health, nature, and everything. And yeah, so think of something you can relate to. Think of a theme and then write down the first few writing the first few rhyming sentences that pop into your head, and just keep going from there. You decide as the author how your poem, how long it is and everything, and that's my tip for the class. So thank you for enjoying Easter. Another thing, the poem. Another thing is tip wise that inspiration could come um, from anywhere. So notice that we have adaptations like jackets or heaters. So if people wanted to, for example, go camping this Easter, they could do that. They could bring a portable heater and put it in their tent, and have a warm Easter, and they could bring food and have during time a spring festival with food and family and friends, or a picnic potluck as it's called. A potluck is little ones where everybody with um friends, one family will invite a good um handful or a large or small, depending on how big they want to make their potluck group of people, and everybody is assigned a dish that they want to bring, and usually sometimes depending on the occasion or reason for the party or gathering, everyone is assigned a dish so that when they're told that they can bring it, other people know too. So they bring a different dish and they don't bring the same dish. So there's not too much without many people to eat it of the same dish, and everything. Another tip is inspiration um is subjective. So I could have not titled it Easter, for example, and just wrote about the type of weather during this time of year have um that we have usually, and how I could have talked about how this spring, for example, is one that I wish was warmer. So um if you're having to write poetry for a class in like school or something, you can take the topic from different viewpoints and make your piece of writing stand out that way. And that's another tip. Let's see, another tip is like, if you're working on poetry together, like with the team, put in your important details, but try to stand out from everybody else in the group in a good way so that when your ideas come together, they know that you're just not copying other people for like in school, dignity and being um a leader and not plagiarizing reasons which plagiarizing is. Let's see, I'll give you an example to go with this. I won't forget that I want to talk about um plagiarism in um the topic, but first the first video to go with not the class but my poem which I opened up called Easter. The video with the first video to go with that is actually going to be shown on my big monitor screen, so I will turn that around and show it. Mm. The meaning of Easter for little kids on YouTube. Okay, enjoy. I found a video that good. That is my topic. Another version of the topic perspective story and from the little kid's perspective so that it can be an everybody video in my video. And welcome to the how to avoid fraud channel. Called that because I don't want to be fraudulent with any of the people getting me the helping people money through poetry because I'm a poet. That's one of the ways I write um, God's story team. So welcome through this video for the first visit God's story to the Morgan Naggin How to Avoid Fraud channel. Please let this be okay, and if it's not, put that in the comments and I will never again use your videos in one of mine. I have a little kids audience too, so I think this will be perfect.
God's story, Easter. So part of God's story is about Easter, and it begins like this. You may think that ginormous bunny hides chocolate inside plastic eggs. But Easter is really all about how much Jesus loves us and how God sent him to rescue us. Remember how the Jews, God's special family, were waiting for a king to come rescue them? Well, Jesus was the king, and this rescue was the whole reason he came to earth. God had already rescued the Jews once before, but this time it was going to include everyone. So one night, Jesus told his friends about the rescue. Exciting, right? But talking about this rescue was sad. That's because Jesus was going Kids, every mean or bad thing we do deserves punishment. By dying, Jesus took our punishment. Lots of things in life have good parts and bad parts. And just like candy bars are mostly good, as long as you brush your teeth after you eat one, this story is a really good one. Anyway, talking about the rescue made Jesus sad since he didn't really want to die. Thankfully, we could talk to God when we were sad, so Jesus took a few friends into a garden to pray. In the garden, a guy named Judas, who people thought was Jesus' friend, came with some people to help arrest Jesus. Peter, one of Jesus' true friends, was so mad he cut off a servant's ear with his sword. But Jesus didn't want his friends to hurt others, so Jesus healed the ear and let them arrest him. Then Jesus was taken to trial. One of the most powerful men in the city, Pontius Pilate, wanted to let Jesus go. But many of the people wanted Jesus to die. They didn't believe he was the Son of God or any kind of king. Even after all the miracles Jesus did, like healing sick people and making blind people see, they didn't believe in him. The people were so mad they started yelling, "Kill him!" So Pontius Pilate let the soldiers take Jesus. The soldiers made fun of the idea that Jesus was a king. They put a crown of thorns on his head and nailed him to a cross. Many people watched, but not all of them wanted Jesus to die. His mother and close friends were there too. Just imagine how they must have felt. Once Jesus was up on the cross, the sun stopped shining for 3 full hours in the middle of the day. But those soldiers kept right on making fun of him. They said, "If you're really God's son, why don't you just call on some angels to save you?" Jesus could have called on angels to save him, but he loved us so much that he wanted to rescue us. So instead, he prayed to God, "Father, I place my life into your hands." At that moment, Jesus died. When he died, the soldiers who had just killed him realized he really was the Son of God. Later, Jesus was put into a tomb and a big rock blocked the entrance. Jesus' friends thought that was the end. But 3 days later, God sent an angel to roll the stone away. Don't worry, Jesus could get out on his own. The angel moved the rock so everybody else could see the tomb was empty. Jesus' friends were the first to stop by the tomb. The angel said, "He has risen," which is another way of saying that Jesus is alive. Nobody could believe it. Jesus took our punishment and then proved he really is the Son of God by coming back to life. Now, if we choose to follow Jesus, God forgives us for all the wrong things we do because Jesus already took our punishment. And that's the story of Easter. But that's not all there is. Here's a quick version of what happened after the angel told the good news. Jesus' friends got scared. Jesus appeared to them. They saw his scars. It was really him. Now they could share the good news too. Jesus appeared to more than 500 people. He went back up to heaven. And the best part? He promised to come back someday for everybody who follows him. And all that is a part of God's story.
Okay, so um yeah, because I gave the positive secular version mostly of my poem and the Jesus part a little more explanation of the Jesus part was brought to everyone through the video anyway. Yeah, so that is basically it, but more of the class, and then I will close after a few more things. Okay, so poetry is really fun and cool in an exciting way because of like the imagery, uh, imagery meaning word pictures, and there are some things that you can see with any words, and you can just tell what the story is saying because of the pictures. And an example of that poetically will um not poetically really, but an example expression wise of that will be given of what I mean now. I said I wanted to talk about like um poetry examples more. I forgot what word I used, but it was about the grass more in the sense of poetry and the different sections of it. So how to give examples through your own poetry of what you're trying to say. Like, for example, if I wrote a story about a young person who who was really excited because they were going for this musical competition, and the lyrics to the song um, were written in poetic form. For example, I wouldn't make a sad face for the person. I wouldn't be crying like this. Hold on. I wouldn't be crying and need tissues like, wow, I'm so nervous and scared. And boo-hoo. Why? Because that would be the wrong picture for the story I'm trying to tell. I would scream or sing the title. I would be like, a young person was happy because they're combining music and poetry, and my voice would go up, and I would give exciting faces to go with the story and symbols, like, for example, a thumbs up and a smile face and really perfect smiles with happy expressions. Like if I'm the young person, for example, if Miss Morgan was in the story, I would probably I'm going to give an open mouth smile for my story like this. And you could tell that I'm smiling and happy. So my point being that because of before people read the poetry, the fact that they can kind of get the tone of the poetry before you say anything, before you read it to them or they read it, but you would read it if you had a poetry audience and you were speaking in front of a crowd. That's what that means, little ones like people in kindergarten and preschool. That's what that means. Um, so make sure your word pictures or imagery um, um, is clearly acquainted or clearly related to the story. Related, when you're related to someone, for example, it's the most common example. When you're related to someone, that means they're your parents or your um guardian little ones. So that means they're your parents or auntie or uncle, if not brother, sister, or cousin, or niece or nephew. And for a thing, relation, a table goes in a restaurant or at a house, so in that way, a table is related to a house. That's what that means. And now, um, for another um, um, fun um, fact. Well, not a fun fact, but a a leading um into the fun fact or something that is going to teach us about the fun fact. I'm going to let my monitor tell us how to spell imagery. Spell imagery.
Imagery is spelled I-M-A.
Exit. Exit. Spell imagery.
Imagery is spelled I-M-A-G-E-R-Y.
A 20-minute video YouTube on a 20-minute video on YouTube. Exit. A 20-minute video on YouTube of a teacher giving a poetry lecture with imagery and explaining what that is to little children.
Getting that from YouTube. Hey, Fabulous friends. We are about to answer this question. What is imagery? Stay tuned.
And I know I already explained what imagery is, everyone, but I want to show you it with pictures and words, so that everyone, especially if you're new to any class on poetry and how this all relates, can understand it, and especially the ones in kindergarten and third and fourth graders, and fifth graders. But as the most basic form of imagery, portrayed or shown to a person in this way that I could find here, is how it goes together.
Hey, fabulous friends. We are about to answer this question. What is imagery? Stay tuned. For this activity, you're going to need some scissors, a glue stick, and some highlighters, markers, or colored pencils. These are the foldables I'm going to be using in this video. If you don't have it, you can click the link in the description box below and go grab yourself a copy. If you do have them, go ahead and start cutting these out. This one you're going to cut out around this dotted line. And over here, you're going to cut out around this outside fold line, but don't cut out any other ones. If you don't have the foldable, it's okay. You can still stick around and see what you learn. If at any time during this video I'm moving too fast, just pause the video so you can catch up. It is time for our next poetry lesson. We are going to be looking at something called imagery. So once you've gotten these cut out, you're going to do the same thing we always do, which is flip it over and fold right on that black line so that we make a little doorway in the middle here that's going to open up. Once you've got this folded, you're going to flip it upside down. You are going to glue this down. So put a nice, good strip of glue around the edges. And then make a big X in the middle so it'll be really secure. Nice and straight, and open it up, just smooth it out in the middle. Now we're going to take our comb and it's insert here, and we're just going to make sure that we have cut it enough so that this will close over it. It looks good. Okay, go ahead and pause if you need to catch up, otherwise let's keep going. All right, so we're going to take a look at imagery. Now, if you think about the word imagery, you'll actually hear image. And all an image is a picture. So when you make a picture with your words, it helps the reader imagine that they're there with you. And that's what our definition basically says. Using words that appeal to the senses in order to create a picture in the reader's mind. So when we describe something, and it really helps the reader smell it, or see it, or feel like they're touching it, or tasting it, or hearing it, that is imagery that helps put a really good picture in the reader's mind and helps kind of transport them to whatever you're describing in your writing. So let's take a look at this poem first. We'll just read it and then we'll look for some examples of imagery. A sense of yellow. It's the warmth of sunshine as it tingles on my skin. It's the icy lemonade that I eagerly drink in. It's the scent of buttercups carried gently on the breeze. It's the sweetest honeycomb and the quiet buzz of bees. It's the sour lemon drop that melts upon my lips. It's the taste of summer rain and a gulped breeze sips. It's salty air that's flowing over castles on the beach. It is the tiny sailboats far away and out of reach. Yellow's more than a feeling. It's something real and true. It is the warmth of friendship that I feel in my you. All right, so now let's look for some imagery. We're going to take a look first at the sense of smell. So anything that is being described as something we can smell. Now, it's a little tricky because smell and taste are pretty similar when you're talking about describing them, but some things you can really smell more than taste. So let's see if we can find some of those in the poem. Here we've got a really specific one. It says, it is the scent of buttercups. Buttercup is a type of flower, and sometimes we can smell the sweet scent of the flower because it's actually being blown to us on the breeze. So this is appealing to our sense of smell. We can kind of imagine that it's being carried on this breeze towards us. And here's another one, salty air that's blowing. Now, it seems like you wouldn't be able to smell salt, but when you go to the ocean, you do get a different scent. It's like this salty, fresh, clean scent in the air. So, like I said, it's a little hard to pick out the sense of smell because most things can really be referring to the taste rather than the smell. But here's two good examples because this is specifically talking about a scent, and this is talking about something in the air that you wouldn't necessarily taste. Now, if it's talking about salt water and you were swimming in it, it's probably talking about it getting in your mouth. So that would be taste, but this is a smell here because it's just in the air. Okay, the next one is sight. And this is going to be any words that are describing what something looks like. So any good adjectives that describe the color or the shape or the size of something, those are going to be appealing to our sense of sight because we can actually get a picture of it in our head. Here I saw a really good one. This is castles on the beach. I can actually imagine a picture of these sand castles all over the beach. So that is appealing. So I'm not just picturing a blank beach where it's just empty. I'm picturing big sand castles. And then I also get a sense of sight here when it describes these tiny sailboats. Now, I don't think Ted sailboats were technically tiny, but if I was on the beach and was looking out way in the distance, those sailboats sailing out there in the ocean would look very tiny to me. So that gives me a good picture now of being on the beach with the sandcastles, looking out and seeing these tiny sailboats. And then it's being described a little bit further by saying that they're far away and out of reach. I can just kind of picture them way out in the ocean, very, very small, maybe even kind of making you think, oh, I wish I was on one of the boats too. That looks like so much fun. But that is the thing that's my sense of sight because I automatically get a picture in my head of what that would look like if I was there. Okay, now we're going to look at some examples of imagery using the sense of touch. Now, when this one is probably one of the easiest ones because it goes along with anything that you can imagine what it feels like, soft or bumpy, rough or smooth. So anything that you can imagine what it feels like would go along with the sense of touch. So let's look for some. We've got the warmth of sunshine. I can imagine being outside and having the sun shine down on my skin. You know, you kind of feel your skin heating up. And it describes it here by saying it tingles on my skin. It really does. If you stay in the sun too long, you'll get that tingly feeling of heat on your skin because the sun is really hot. Here we're describing icy lemonade. It's really cold, and that's what we want when it's hot in the summer. And then here we're describing a sour lemon drop. We're describing it melting on my lips. I can kind of imagine this candy. It's so hot, and I'm going to put it in my mouth, and it's just going to start melting immediately. So I get that sense of feeling of sticky lemon candy on my lips. Okay, the next one is taste. And taste is a fun one because you can think of any flavor, any way that you can describe anything you can eat, and that's going to appeal to your sense of taste and kind of transport you to wherever the author is talking about. So let's look for some examples. Here I've got lemonade. I immediately kind of imagine that sweet, tangy yumminess that lemonade brings to mind. I eagerly drink in goes right along with lemonade because I can just imagine taking a big gulp of that yummy, sweet, sour lemonade when I'm hot on a summer day. And that really appeals to my sense of taste because I can imagine drinking it. Here we've got sweetest honeycomb. Honeycomb is actually what the bees put the honey in. So before it gets spun out of that into nice little cute bear balls in the grocery store, it's in what's called the honeycomb inside of the beehive. And so we're talking about something very sweet. Honey is very sweet.
I just thought about something but nation, but I'm sorry, but we can't finish this video without me um rewinding it, and that's because um I was thinking about it, and it's not fair to you, boss, because of the fact that
And then we've got another example here, the taste of summer rain. Now, summer rain could go along with feeling if we're talking about it.
because of the fact that when this video was playing, I had to adjust some seating situations, and there were a lot of crackling noises talking about imagery, though. There's some imagery you could sort of imagine um, something that was going on, how when you're not sitting good and you just have to adjust because if not, it's gonna annoy you and everything. Yeah, that was what imagery wise was going on with me. So to get the whole point of the story for all of us, because I like poetry too, we're going to rewind it and everything.
Hey, fabulous friends, we are about to These are the foldables I'm going to be using in this video. If you don't have it, you can click the link in the description box below and go grab yourself a copy. If you do have them, go ahead and start cutting these out. This one you're going to cut out around this dotted line. And over here you're going to cut out around this outside fold line, but don't cut out any of these other lines. If you don't have the foldable, it's okay. You can still stick around and see what you learn. If at any time during this video I'm moving too fast, just pause the video so you can catch up. It is time for our next poetry lesson. We are going to be looking at something called imagery. So once you've gotten these cut out, you're going to do the same thing we always do, which is flip it over and fold right on that black line. So we make a little doorway in the middle here that's going to open up. Once you've got this folded, we're going to flip it upside down. You are going to glue this down. So put a nice, good strip of glue around the edges, and then make a big X in the middle so it'll be really secure, nice and straight, and open it up and smooth it out in the middle. Now we're going to take our comb, and it's an insert here, and we're just going to make sure that we have cut it enough so that this will close over it. It looks good. Okay, go ahead and pause if you need to catch up, otherwise let's keep going. All right, so we're going to take a look at imagery. Now, if you think about the word imagery, you'll actually hear image. And all an image is a picture. So when you make a picture with your words, it helps the reader imagine that they're there with you. And that's what our definition basically says. Using words that appeal to the senses in order to create a picture in the reader's mind. So when we describe something, and it really helps the reader smell it, or see it, or feel like they're touching it, or tasting it, or hearing it, that is imagery that helps put a really good picture in the reader's mind, and helps kind of transport them to whatever you're describing in your writing. So let's take a look at this poem first. We'll just read it, and then we'll look for some examples of imagery. A sense of yellow. It's the warmth of sunshine as it tingles on my skin. It's the icy lemonade that I eagerly drink in. It's the scent of buttercups carried gently on the breeze. It's the sweetest honeycomb and the quiet buzz of bees. It's the sour lemon drop that melts upon my lips. It's the taste of summer rain and a gulp down breezy sips. It's salty air that's flowing over castles on the beach. It is the tiny sailboats far away and out of reach. Yellow is more than a feeling. It is something real and true. It is the warmth of friendship that I feel when I'm with you. All right, so now let's look for some imagery. We're going to take a look first at the sense of smell. So anything that is being described as something you can smell. Now, it's a little tricky because smell and taste are pretty similar when you're talking about describing them. But some things you would really smell more than taste. So let's see if we can find some of those in the poem. Here we've got a really specific one. It says, it is the scent of buttercups. A buttercup is a type of flower. And sometimes we can smell the sweet scent of the flower because it's actually being blown to us on the breeze. So this is appealing to our sense of smell. You kind of imagine that it's being carried on this breeze towards us. And here's another one, salty air that's blowing. Now, it seems like you wouldn't be able to smell salt, but when you go to the ocean, you do get a different scent. It's like a salty, fresh, clean scent in the air. So, like I said, it's a little hard to pick out the sense of smell because most things could really be referring to the taste rather than the smell. But here's two good examples because this is specifically talking about a scent, and this is talking about something in the air that you wouldn't necessarily taste. Now, if it was talking about salt water and you were swimming in it, it's probably talking about it getting in your mouth, so that would be a taste. But this is a smell here because it's just in the air. Okay, the next one is sight. And this is going to be any words that are describing what something looks like. So any good adjectives that describe the color, the shape, or the size of something, those are going to be appealing to our sense of sight because we can actually get a picture of it in our head. Here I saw a really good one. This is castles on the beach. I can actually imagine a picture of these sand castles all over the beach. So that is appealing. So I'm not just picturing a blank beach where it's just empty. I'm picturing big sand castles. And then I also get a sense of sight too. It describes these tiny sailboats. Now I don't think sailboats are technically tiny, but if I was on the beach and was looking out way in the distance, those sailboats sailing out there in the ocean would look very tiny to me. So that gives me a good picture now of being on the beach with the sandcastles, looking out and seeing these tiny sailboats. And then it's being described a little bit further by saying they're far away and out of reach. I can just kind of picture them way out in the ocean, very, very small, maybe even kind of making me think, oh, I wish I was on one of the boats too. That looks like so much fun. But that is appealing to my sense of sight because I automatically get a picture in my head of what that would look like if I was there. Okay, now we're going to look at some examples of imagery using the sense of touch. Now, when this one is probably one of the easiest ones because it goes along with anything that you can imagine what it feels like, soft or bumpy, rough or smooth. So anything that you can imagine what it feels like would go along with the sense of touch. So let's look for some. We've got the warmth of sunshine. I can imagine being outside and having the sun shine down on my skin. You know, you kind of feel your skin heating up. And it describes it here by saying it tingles on my skin. And it really does. If you stay with it too long, you'll get that tingling feeling of heat on your skin because the sun is really hot. Here we're describing icy lemonade. It's really cold, and that's what we want when it's hot in the summer. And then here we're describing a sour lemon drop. We're describing it melting on my lips. I can kind of imagine this candy. It's so hot, and I'm going to put it in my mouth, and it's just going to start melting immediately. So I get that sense of feeling of sticky, yummy lemon candy on my lips. Okay, the next one is taste. And taste is a fun one because you can think of any flavor, any way that you can describe anything you can eat, and that's going to appeal to your sense of taste and kind of transport you to wherever the author is talking about. So let's look for some examples. Here I've got lemonade. I immediately kind of imagine that sweet, tangy yumminess that lemonade brings to mind. I eagerly drink in goes right along with lemonade because I can just imagine taking a big gulp of that yummy, sweet, sour lemonade when I'm hot on a summer day. And that really appeals to my sense of taste because I can imagine drinking it. Here we've got sweetest honeycomb. Honeycomb is actually what the bees put the honey in. So before it gets spun out of that and put into nice little cute bear bottles in the grocery store, it's in what's called a honeycomb inside of the beehive. And so we're talking about something very sweet. Honey is very sweet to the taste. So we can imagine taking a taste of yummy sweet honey, and that just kind of gets my mouth ready to take a bite of something with honey. And then we've got another example here, the taste of summer rain. Now, summer rain could go along with feeling, if we're talking about it hitting our skin. It could go along with some other senses as well. Here, we're actually seeing it described as a taste. If you've ever been outside on a nice, light, summer rainy day, and you just open your mouth and take a taste of that rain, it has a specific taste to it and kind of transports us there and makes us think of the summer rains that are like soft and gentle and maybe cool off the summer day a little bit. And then here we've got gulp down greedy sips. Gulp down greedy sips, that's just kind of reminding me that we're like getting a little taste of that rain and we're sipping it down. So those are some examples of the sense of taste. Some other things we could use for the words sour or bitter or sweet, of course, is a really common one, the sweetest here. So it's just anything that has to do with tasting something or getting that sensation of eating something that we would be helping the reader to get a good picture in their head. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is hearing. We're going to do it in pink. So anything that has to do with sound. In this one, we only have one example of something that's appealing to the sense of sound. We have the quiet buzz of bees. And the word buzz is actually on Wikipedia because buzz, it sounds like the sound that bees actually make. It sounds like the sound it's describing. So the quiet buzz of bees, like as soon as we read that line, I can like imagine it's just like kind of off a little ways off in the tree somewhere where the beehive is. So we can kind of hear that sound. Okay, and the last one we're going to talk about. Now, technically it's is not one of our senses. We have five senses: smell, sight, touch, taste, and hearing. This one is feelings. And don't get confused with touch. Touch means you're actually touching it and you're feeling what it feels like physically. But feelings, the reason I put a heart here, is because we're talking about an emotion, the way something makes us feel like sad or happy. We're going to do this one in red. And of course, I don't have a red highlighter, so I just got a marker. So if you have a marker or a crayon, that will work. So let's take a look now at all the things that are kind of going on with feeling in this last stanza. And it actually has the word feeling here. It says it's more than just a feeling. It's not talking about a feeling when you touch something. It's talking about a feeling in your heart. It's something real and true. Okay? This isn't something that we can physically go find truth or something real, but we know that we have it when we find it. It is the warmth of friendship. Now, technically, friendship is not actually warm. If I was really cold and my friend called me, I would not get warmer. But we kind of use these terms to describe how wonderful it is to have a good friend. You know, it's like this warm feeling, but it's really a feeling of the heart. The warmth of friendship that I feel when I'm with you. This is talking about friendship, love, caring for somebody else. So these are all emotions or feelings that we have in our heart. And poets can bring these things out a lot too. So sometimes you'll find this imagery that appeals to your senses, but a lot of times you'll find the emotions really getting put to as well. And the author will do a really good job of describing something that's sad or something that makes them really happy. And you just kind of have to pick up on that. It's a little trickier to find or to recognize this than it is to recognize the other ones because they're pretty straightforward. This one is a little trickier to go a little deeper. All right, guys, you've done a great job learning all about imagery. So just remember when you read your next poem that you're going to use your senses to try and find those things that the author is using to help you feel like you are really there. Be sure to check out all my other videos on poetry and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated on all the new videos I post. Thanks so much for joining me for this video. I'll see you in the next one.
I don't.
It's
I don't know the person or the poetry teacher and apparently author. Uh, but thank you, um, ma'am, um, for letting me teach my course with your course. I am um, born in March, specifically on the 12th in 2007. 17-year-old Morgan Magan, and if um I don't know if that's like representing what you really look like. I know that's a cartoon image on um your poetry channel, but ma'am, I would like to really meet you because electronically because you and I, according to this course, although I like writing in general, you and I are on the same mission regarding um poetry and everything. I want to help people through it. So thank you, um, ma'am. Um, I will make a personal video after um my class is over and talk to um you about it. Although I will tell you that my name, just in case you're dealing um with a lot of more into something I am going to and would like to present to you like this. Magain, comma, Moragain. I am I am Megan, comma, Morgan, ma'am, an upcoming poet with not a publisher yet, although I am working on some sponsored deals as to where I can have my poetry readings live other than in my office. So you can call me at my office phone number and also email me at my email, that is professional Morgan Megan at gmail.com in all lowercase. Professional because I want to become a poet professionally, and my name in all lowercase would be gmail.com part in all lowercase as well. And then um you can call me at 770-895-4466. That is again 770-895-4466. Thank you. Um okay, so now um sadly this means our show is coming to a close when I don't have necessarily imagery that goes with the topic anymore, except for a few um surprises. The first one is um going to um, be played right now, and because it is um, in the hour of three and everything, and I am going to play this imagery, and I'm talking about poetry and Easter. Please join my party, won't you, Boss Nation? In fact, I'm going to um get my snack right now. Um, and now, please, obviously, I'm not going to achieve that immediately after I finish eating because that is dangerous and it can be very dangerous, so kids don't dance with your family or your school family and teachers. School family first, meaning your classmates immediately after you finish eating. It could be very dangerous, and it is because you can throw up the food if you immediately start dancing. So don't. But after I eat my food, I may dance to this music. So join me, and you won't see me dancing. I'll only show you where the instrumental is coming from, but I'm going to share an instrumental with you while eating the snack. Bus Nation, so please and thank you. Enjoy. Residue instrumental. Residue instrumental YouTube.
Getting that from YouTube.
Residue. Anyway,
Guess what? Jordan has
so you can hear me. Let me pause that ad for a second. Residue for all my preschoolers means something left behind. So, for example, candy wrappers and cracker wrappers for cheese and peanut butter. For example, crackers can be residue along with Capri Sun or apple juice if you're not drinking an apple juice flavored Capri Sun at a party. All those things could be residue. That is what residue means, but it doesn't necessarily have to go along with the party, you know. It could be anything left behind in a situation. For example, if a house gets knocked down because it's not a stable house for a family to be living in, the builders can knock it down once they get permission, you know, if they didn't build a house and then they build a new one. Everything they knock down to build the old house can be given away if it's still in good shape or condition, you know. But everything they knock down is residue from the old house, for example, because they would clean it up to be able to build a new one, but it would be left behind because they wouldn't use the old material anymore or what the house was made up of before because they're building a new one. So that's residue, yeah.
I told you that in confidence. Why you call on one of them? Switch to Xfinity because it's only live once.
And this ad, please ignore it. Well, I'm sorry. I wanted to get to the party music and use it to enjoy myself.
2 years ago, I suggested gaming along with the best Let's Play channel on YouTube, the 2-Bit Club.
Residue instrumental on YouTube.
Getting that from YouTube.
Residue by Jason Nelson on YouTube. The instrumental to Residue.
Getting that from YouTube.
Residue instrumental Jason Nelson YouTube.
Hearing that from YouTube.
Jason Nelson Residue on YouTube instrumental.
Hearing that from YouTube.
Just in case, this is a song about like changes through poetry and making it a happy day, and because people can connect to poetry, becoming a new person because of that, in however you believe, especially with encouragement in the positive circle, and letting your imagination be opened however you choose to, because life is all about choices and everything. Instrumental means little ones. It means the song without
Shark going across the world freeway. Not the other way. Zebra traps use light to trap.
it means the song without the um people singing it. So it's just the beat so that DJs without um disturbing a song or getting out the lyrics to the song. I think before it was like 2024, for example, I think for parties, DJs, or the people controlling what we call turntables for parties, basically letting the other people be able to dance to music. They would say, okay, for payment, I'll let you dance to the music I provide for money as I DJ your party, or as I control the music for your party. So I think before it was in the current years or 2024, DJs would get the music to the songs, but just the music, so people, if they wanted to for any reason, could just dance to the music, which is why that one called Residue, that instrumental called Residue, I tried to find it without the words, but it's not a negative song. Parents, you could decide what age group listens to the song with you, or plan your day to that song around family time if you want to. I actually love that song and everything, so yes, I like to dance to it or have classes it, but I try to bring you a new instrumental every now and then. So that's why I haven't played it before now, because I wanted the instrumental to be new, instrumental to during the root word is instrument. So it's a musical gathering, but instrument wise of just the song without any words. That's another definition and another imagery play. Um, Picture in your mind that you can use. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to drink water after, like, to wash down my snack, and then afterwards, I will let you have another art picture, because any creative art goes with this lesson. It's all about sparking the imagination, or letting there be a creative light in your imagination to let you know that dreams can come true and everything. So I'm gonna play another video of another form of art that has nothing to relate with regarding or because of poetry, or it does not match the poetry theme at all, but it does match being creative. And that is after I sing. That'll be the final closeout. So I just want you to know that um, however you choose to celebrate Easter, I don't personally care, but I hope you have with friends, family, and all a happy one filled with miracles and magic. And if you want to check out some things on the channel, I will be doing, if I have time, an Easter performance, but that's because if I have time, the reason I say that is my family and I have plans due to how we celebrate Easter, so that's why today I want to do a pre um Easter performance, and then there will be one on Friday, which because uh, um I make a lot of these videos for fun and as a joke that I want to share with you. I'll say this. But I thought today, I thought tomorrow, yeah, I thought tomorrow was Saturday for a second because I make a lot of these videos. So, as I got off the live stream for you one time, I was planning this um show, and then I skipped the day just to take a break, which was yesterday. So I thought like planning it. I thought today. I thought Friday of this week would actually be Saturday, and I was like, wait a second. No, I just need to clear my schedule so I can clear my head, but it's not going to be Saturday. I'm not skipping a show plan. I have all the plans scheduled and everything, but that was funny. And I think to change it up, that I'll tell you tomorrow's poem on tomorrow, but I will tell you I think I might change my mind before the end of this video, but right now I think I'll tell you that I changed the name of it because uh, I'm teaching the lessons to every age with this everybody video, and I don't want imagery wise anyone to get confused, so it is not going to be called. You'll have to wait and see, meaning I'll tell you the name most likely tomorrow instead of today. Imagery and sound boss nation, I am okay. After I gulped all the water or drank it not too quickly, but quickly so that my food would go down okay. After eating all that, my cup is like a bowling pin that knocked down imaginary um, pins. I meant to say first, the first time a bowling ball my cup was like a bowling ball that knocked down imaginary pins when it fell on accident and everything. So, uh, excuse me for a second for a change of things, but nation, I will smile at you again. Just excuse me for 1 second. I will turn the camera and smile at you again. Just 1 second, please. Okay, so for excuse me, thank you, Nation. And now with a clean mouth and fixing the word angle, I will smile at you after turning the computer. An ankle, little ones in Boston Nation is you can hear about it in writing, and that's when it's referred to as or told as um, why somebody is writing a story or a particular um, story, um, and why it's personal to them in writing. It's also referred to an angle is as somebody's viewpoint or what position regarding a story that they're taking, how they feel about a story, what they would not or would change regarding a story. and everything. But in math is mostly where you'll hear the term um, angle, and that's because it refers to using numbers, or it means using numbers, how a particular shape or object, which is a thing like a computer, somebody's desk, a refrigerator, for example, is turned to a certain length and everything. So yeah, that's what an angle is. And I promise you I would be back. See, here I am. Um, and um, for the pre-Easter performance, um, I am actually going to turn your attention by turning my computer back to my giant monitor, because I am going to face it myself, and I'm going to perform for you so that you can look at the lyrics in my video, Boss Nation. Here you go, my screen is turned for that reason or purpose. Actually, um, I think I'm going to do a positive secular version first of the performance. The Best Year of My Life by Jesse from Jesse on YouTube. exit. Um, that's not working. Hold on. Tidal wave on YouTube from Bump. Thank you, Kevin Quinn, and welcome back to the channel. Tidal wave lyrics from Bump. Just put this down so my clicker does not fall because I'll need it monitor-wise or because of the monitor for the next activity. I've heard it set timings everything. Well, everything is here now. You'll never know what the day will bring. Just be ready when it comes around. Life's a beach chopping island getaway. I can't believe it was yesterday. You hit me like a freight train. No, I did a double day party like a summer day. Got a mean undertow, holds me down, won't let me go. Love has got me swept away on a tidal wave. A tidal wave. It's like a tidal wave. A tidal wave. Oh, I'm living now. I'm loving now on a tidal wave. You hit me like a fish jungle. I did a double dick party like summer day. Throw me undertow, me down, me on the go. Both has got me swept away on the tidal wave. A tidal wave. It's like a. Okay. That was Fun Bus Nation. And now for the other song. Not that one. No other name like his lyrics. YouTube. Oh, by for positive secular reasons on my channel. By the way, Um, let me explain what a freight train is. A freight train in this sense, which is the only positive secular sense, is a train that takes people on a party emotional roller coaster. In this case, Sander from the series Bump on Disney Channel describes falling into a friendship where you care about the other person just like our poetry teacher from earlier was talking about. He was describing falling in love with Emma like a freight train, which is very sweet and cool. So, yeah, I hope in that way it feels like a family freight train starting from this Easter every day when you're partying with your family, no matter how you choose to, Boss Nation. Yeah, okay. No other name like his on YouTube.
Getting that from
Exit. Call his name no other name like his on YouTube. Lyrics to call his name no other name like his on YouTube.
Getting that from YouTube.
Yes, this is the song. Okay. Okay. Tell somebody the name of Jesus. It's higher than cancer. It's higher than heartbreak. It's higher than any disease that wants to give us a hard time in this life fascination. Okay. One, two, you East regarding Easter and every other day. Come on. Hallelujah, Hosanna, in the name of Jesus. Hosanna, hallelujah. Dun, 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 dun. How majestic is your name in all, O Lord, in all the earth. Your name is strong and mighty. Your name is glorious and great. The name of Jesus is higher than the other name. King of all kings, there is no other name like his. The name of Jesus is higher than any other name. Alpha and Omega, no other name like his. There is none. Amen. Your name is Lord. and for my soul. Hallelujah. In your name we overcome. In your name there's victory in the Lord Jesus. His name is powerful. The name of Jesus is higher than the other name. King of all kings, there's no other name like his. The name of Jesus is higher than the other name. King of all kings, and the name of his Jesus. Than the other name. King of all kings. No other name like his. The name of Jesus higher than the name. Alpha and Omega, no other name like him. Every other God, the Jesus died and he rose again. He was king. In your name, every knee shall bow. In your name, I said, hallelujah. We call upon your name, Jesus, miracle worker, provider, savior, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Because we're in all of you, majestically we call your name, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Redeemer, you were idea giver, Jesus, that's who you are. You are Jesus. You're such a friend, Jesus. You're a burden lifter, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Our miracle worker, Jesus, our heavenly Father, Jesus. Jesus, what a beautiful, so meaningful name, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, I love you, Jesus. Jesus, oh, Jesus, I'm so thankful for you, Jesus. Jesus, such a relevant name, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. We bow at your name, Jesus. Amen, Lord Jesus. Jesus, we pray for let me in the secular for your inspiration to be enlightening and Okay, so now I will say thanks for joining me, Boss Nation, and wave to you. And right after, um I will play the other video. It will just be easier if I turn my computer. Hold on. Okay. So here's me waving to you. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. And now for the closing video. Um, thanks for having me make your Thursday, March 21st enlightening in the positive secular. Thanks for learning a lot through me by choice. I really appreciate it. I like helping people learn and everything. How to from clay make mugs and bowls and pots. YouTube with somebody walking you through the steps. Let me make sure you can see that out the way. And just pause it so I can rewind it and everything so that before I rewind it I could make sure my computer is facing the bit. And hopefully this one speaks. If it doesn't, we can all watch pictures. Excuse the music if according to my channel and how I run things. I don't know the person in this video, so or their team. So if it's not positive secular, it's all about loving no matter what their beliefs are and how that runs their life by choice, loving them anyway. So, yeah, excuse me because I'll excuse the non-positive secular with air quotes because that is very subjective. Music in this um um that's a good one, but as you know, I'm getting glasses off nation. The appointment is actually in April, which is next month. So for people with vision trouble and maybe you're not with your glasses um um right now, let's change it. I want some video that actually speaks.
It's Michael's lowest prices of the season. Shop now for up to 70% off store-wide and for a huge deal on spring stems. Our scrap supplies pick up free. Plus, they will all spring floral and decor and all season decor. And here's another way to save. Protein to build muscle. Electrolytes to help hydrate. Just in your cup with 4 pounds. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made a selection of mugs using the pinching technique. Each of the mugs is a little bit different. They've got different design features, different shapes and sizes, but they're all using the same basic technique. If you like the video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get a notification when I upload a new video. And the first mug I'm going to make is this one. To make this mug, you start off with a ball of clay about the size of an orange, nice round ball of clay, and then supporting it in one hand, you press your thumb into it until it's almost touching the other side. I would leave a thickness of about maybe a third of an inch, so you'll be able to feel it through the tip of your thumb, and the bottom of your other hand you'll be able to feel when the thumb is getting close to the other side of the clay. Don't push your thumb right the way through. I say about a third of an inch, I would say, to start off with. And then just slowly, using your finger and thumb, just start pinching the clay out, supporting it with one hand and pinching around like that with your flat fingers, rather than pinching with the tips of your fingers. You don't want to pinch with the tips of your fingers. You want to keep your fingers relatively flat, because otherwise if you just pinch with the tips of your fingers, it's not actually going to squeeze the clay upwards, which is what you want to do. Just end up with a ridge at the bottom of the clay where your fingertips have been pinching. So just keep pinching around, and if you notice that any sections of the clay on the top rim start cracking, just smooth it out as you go. If you don't smooth out the cracks as they appear, they can open up and become a bit larger later on. So it's best to just smooth out as they appear. Like I say, just keep slow, even pinches all the way around, and try to make sure that the sides of the clay stay at an even thickness. So gradually working your way around. It's best to use clay that's quite soft and pliable, because otherwise it's quite tough on your wrists and on your fingers, but also the clay will crack if it's too dry. So by the time you pinch the clay out, so that the sides of the clay are about this thin, the actual bulb itself will be quite fluffy and soft. So it's best to leave it overnight to firm up so that it becomes not that hard, but a lot firmer to handle. And if I make this into a mug now, it will be a relatively shallow mug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of height to the clay bowl. And I do that first by measuring out the length of the diameter of the rim. And the way I do this is to use a piece of string. I just wrap a piece of string around the top of the mark it out where it joins, cut the string to length, and then the actual diameter of the ring is going to be slightly smaller than that cut piece of string, so I just straighten it on the top. I've never seen anyone else doing it this way, this is just the way I do it. So clipping the piece of string over the top and then cutting it exactly to length. And what you have there is a piece of string that's the exact diameter of the bowl. And then I roll out a slab of clay. I'm rolling a slab of clay out on a piece of fabric there so that it doesn't stick to the table. It's easy to peel off the surface. Once it's been rolled out, and I roll it out about, I would say about a centimetre thick, maybe half an inch. Then using the piece of string I cut to length, I mark out the length of the string on the slab of clay. And then with a ruler, I'm cutting a length of clay that's exactly the width of the mug as it stands. And really what I'm doing here is I'm just making a slab of clay that's going to be about half an inch thick, that's going to be the right length to put around the top of the mug, and it's going to add about an inch of height to the mug. So as you can see, I'm going to cut out about, actually it's probably about an inch and a half of clay. I mean the strip is an inch and a half, the slab is an inch and a half deep. So then I use a serrated rope tool to put some texture onto the ends of each end of the slab. And this is called slip and score, score and slip and filler. You basically use a serrated rib, or you can use a fork if you like it, just a kitchen fork, to rough up the edges, and then paint a bit of clay slip, which is just water in clay onto the ends of the clay slab, and then press them together firmly and blend the clay in together, so you're making one ring of clay that's really well joined together at the ends. Blend it in really well. And then
that almost looks like tape, because there are gray balls of tape of machine that we use in school. It almost looks like with the way she made that a circle. That's what she's making. That's it. So that is the top of the mug. Very cool.
I mean, the clay is quite different. The clay at the bottom is relatively firm, and this has been left overnight, and the clay on top is quite soft. So you just have to make sure that it's attached really well, so that it doesn't separate when it dries. And one of the ways to do that is to just blend the clay in really well with a modeling tool like this, on the outside and on the inside. You've got to blend it in on both surfaces to make sure that the strip on the top is really well attached, really firmly attached. And then when it's really firmly attached, you blend it, tidy it up a little bit with your thumb to get rid of as much of that rough texture as you can. And then when it's joined and blended on nicely, then you can start pinching up the additional slab you joined onto the mug, so that it's the same thickness as the mug underneath, the piece of mug that's underneath. And you might find that the cup will kind of flare out a bit, get a bit wider than you want it to be, so you can rectify that by just turning the mug upside down like that, and then just squeezing it together with your hands so it can reshape the clay, so it makes it into a nicer shape. It looks a bit bulky with it under at the moment, but you will tidy it up. And just taking off, peeling off a bit of the excess clay there from the outside of my thumb, and then just using that one big tool again to blend in the coating clay. And then once the coil of clay has been blended and smoothed out, and you're reasonably happy with the shape of the mug, you can leave it overnight just to make sure that the clay is really bonded together well and both parts of the mug are about the same moisture level. And this is a platter tool, it's by Mug Tools, and it's really handy for just tidying up the inside of the mug, just scraping away some of those lumps and bumps from the inside, tidy it up so it's nice and smooth. And then on the outside, I just use this is called a shore form. You can buy shredding tools that are specifically made for shredding pottery clay and smoothing out the surfaces on pottery clay, but this is just from a local hardware store called a shore form. And you just use it to shred away the uneven surface that's on the outside of the mug, and also to take away some of the thickness, because at the moment the cup's quite bulky. And then I'll just shred it off a bit on the base there, just because I'm thinking about trying to make a bottom to the mug that's going to stand well on the table surface. And then once you've tidied up the outside, I'm just shaping the rim there a little bit. And also I'm just using the shredder here just to take away some of the thickness of the lip of the mug, because it's a bit chunky at the moment and it doesn't look very elegant. So just shred away some of that bulk, and then using my thumbs I'm just smoothing out the inside rim of the lip. And then I tidy up the outside of the mug using a metal rib tool. You can take away the sugar will leave a serrated texture on the mug, so you just need to scrape away that texture using the metal rib tool. All the way around and on the base. And then I use a rubber rib, a soft rubber rib, just to compress the clay and to smooth out any little nicks and marks that have been left by the metal rib. And the rubber rib is really nice for making a really smooth, fluffy surface on the clay. I'm going to do the same on the rim of the mug too, just to make it nice and smooth. And then when I'm happy with it, what I do is I put it the right way up, and I use the spirit level just to check how level the rim of the mug is. If it's not level, what I do is I just shave a little bit extra off with the shredding tool, and then check it again with the spirit level until I'm happy that the mug is sitting, is an even height on the top. It can be quite difficult to get a level lip on a handle pod, but I find the spirit level does help. And then I'm just patting the base of the mug with a wooden paddle, just to make the base a little bit wider so the mug will sit more steadily on the table, and then just tidying it up again with the rubber rib. And then this is a damp piece of chamois leather, which I'm just running around the top edge of the mug to really make sure it's nice and smooth, so it's nice to drink out of, so that there isn't any little sort of sharp edges around the rim. And now I'm going to make a handle for the And I do that by taking a lump of clay that is, and shape it into what looks like a sweet potato or a carrot. And squeeze, hold it in one hand, the fat end in one hand, and then squeeze the other end with your other hand to make it into a longer, to take it into a longer shape. And then what you do is you wet your hand, in a bowl of water, and then you just pull your hand over the elongated piece of clay, and it looks a bit like, everyone says it looks a bit like milking a cow, which of course it does, a bit like milking a cow. And you just keep turning the clay and running your hand over the long strip of clay that's getting longer and longer each time you do this is called pulling a handle, because really you are just pulling the clay out. It's important to remember to keep turning the clay in the supporting hand so that you're making a nice circle shape, so it's an even circle shape. But you don't want your handle to be a circle, because if your handle is a circle, it can feel quite uncomfortable to hold when it's on the mug. So once you're happy with the length and the thickness, then just use your hand to thin it out to make it into a string. You can see that that's really a string of clay rather than a circle of clay. So just keep pulling it until it's at the right thickness and thickness and length of your particular mug. And when you're happy with it, you can just pinch it off and then put it onto a wooden bat, or a plate would be fine as well. And you'll see I'm curling it onto the wooden bat as well into a handle shape, so that it becomes almost never hard in the handle shape rather than flat. So the next day, when the handle is much more, it'll be much more easy to hold because the clay will have firmed up. You can mark it and cut its length, like that, and then position it on the mug where you want it to be attached. You can see that the clay is bending, so it's not completely level hard. It's definitely not soft like it was when I originally made the handle. So then with the needle tool, I just mark each side of where the handle's going to go. And then take the handle away, and then using a serrated rib or your fork or whatever grass surface you're using, scratch into the mug where the handle is going to be attached. And scoring through really quite well, because it's very important, obviously, that the handle stays in place. And score both ends of the handle too. Put a good amount of slip on there, on both sides.
Live from Greater Atlanta, for Women Black Culture, Big Money Business, and East Southern. We fight for everyone who's here to work, then everyone. We fight for Women Atlanta. Yesterday, bread is made fresh and strong. Breakfast sandwiches.
And then press the handle firmly onto the mug. Now, if you put one hand on the inside and press so that you don't, the mug doesn't, the shape of the mug doesn't get distorted. And then once you press it on firmly, I make a very small coil of clay, which I'm going to use to really firmly attach the handle. So press it around the join where the handle is meeting the mug. And then just press it in with your thumbs, pressed into the joint with your thumbs, being careful not to push the handle off the mug because it's still not fixed firmly, it hasn't dried in place yet. That slip hasn't bonded it together completely yet. So press that coil of clay in and blend it in with your fingers, if I use a mixture of my fingers and a really small wooden tool as well, wooden modelling tool. So once I use my fingers and thumbs, just blend that clay in and I'll tidy it up a bit with the tiny little wooden modelling tool. And this just repeat the same process with the lower part of the handle too. And I just do this really to make sure that the handle is very firmly attached to the mug. And I quite like the way it looks as well. I quite like the smooth joint between the mug and the handle. I think it looks quite nicely finished when it's done. And then once it's all blended in, you just use that the shiny leather just to take away any marks that have been left by the modelling tool. And then that's more or less it. I let it once it's all nice and smooth and finished, I let it dry and it's fired and then glaze fired. And that is finished right once it's been glazed. This is a similar, I made this mug in exactly the same way. The only difference actually is that it's got the foot ring attached to it. And in the next section I'm going to show you how to make and attach a foot ring. I'm going to show you how to do it using another way of making a pinch pop mug, which is using a cylinder of clay instead. These two mugs were made using a cylinder of clay, still using the pinch pop method, but you started off doing it different with using a different technique. So starting off with
Okay, I didn't know that this video was that long. I don't want to bore you with this stuff, and I want my video to end. So the video that that didn't speak, but has it had the words. I will try to link it in the description as well as this one, so you can finish watching it if you want, on your own time. But thank you, ladies, for being a part of my poetry segment of my channel video. I wanted to showcase art in two different forms, but relating to art still. So thank you, ladies. I am 17-year-old Morgan Mackin, and please, because I can't pay you yet, but when I get better and you want more or you want money for the first time, you can check out my other videos um for how I plan to get that to you. And thanks for joining me, boss. Um, Nation. Um, the next poetry class is going to feature the commercial with the jingle and food that um was an ad that is um just um playing before these videos, but I just I had that in mind ever since I just got the idea. So the next poetry class um, will feature that. The next one um, tomorrow. So yes, see you then by His grace and mercy, and by His, of course, I mean Him as the Father, Him as the Son, and Him as the Holy Spirit on my YouTube channel, and I both in very different ways are dedicated to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And remember, no, like life is messy whether you choose to look at it from a certain angle or not. But just remember, like, you cannot, like, it's just like making a mug. You can't expect to have it perfect the first time, but the most important thing is it's just like playing baseball. You have to work on hitting the ball with the bat, and you're going to miss a few times, and that's okay. You need to learn to be okay with it. But the finishing product is you're going to be able to learn how to be a good baseball or softball player, which they should call it women's or girls baseball, but basically girls out there and women out there. Softball is just called softball because they literally use a softer sports ball. That's the only difference, but you hit the ball with the bat and then run for the sport and everything. But um okay, yeah, so just be able to not um nag at yourself for not having things be perfect now. There are some levels of that regarding a sense of urgency when you have to raise a clock or make sure you're safe, that you need to care if things are perfect, because if not, that could be dangerous. But like, that's why we have doctors and nurses for when it has to do with our health, that help us, and then we have counselors. So everybody has a team in life, and just reach out to someone, even if you're scared. Have your friends and co-workers and family, if it's a counselor situation, reach out to one for you, and just make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can inspire yourself. And you never know, one day some people will catch you on video and they'll send it out so that that could inspire others. So don't keep your journeys inside. That's how we all dance in the party of life. So keep that in mind, Boss Nation. And Miss um Morgan Magan, or for short Miss M squared, or M times two. We'll see you next time for the poetry segment on the How to Avoid Fraud channel. And thank you for letting me be a part of this growth to growth through poetry experience with all of you. It's really a blast and everything.